Hey y'all, it's Katie. Welcome back to For My Vanity and welcome to another makeup fails, monthly makeup fails video where I discuss the products that I tried out or just was using mainly this past month that just really stood out to me as being not really that great. And they all have their reasons. I always like to kind of throw a disclaimer out saying that even though I am sharing all these in a fails video, I do rank them just for not so much fun, but also just for context that, you know, stuff at the very bottom isn't as bad as like the #1 fail of the month. But it's also just to be able to review these in a more enjoyable fashion and being able to rank them for your guys' benefit. So even though these products aren't a fail videos, keep in mind that I'm trying to give reviews explaining why they're a fail for me, because what's a fail for me may not be a fail for you. So just keep that in mind as we get going. I do want to say that the inspiration for these monthly videos, my favorites and my fails, we're doing fails today. Favorites is coming tomorrow, so stay tuned. But it's from Thrift Thick, Cassie here on YouTube, and also Jen Loves Reviews. So I leave both of those ladies, their channels linked down in the comments because I love to give credit to when I can remember. But even when I don't remember in a video, I link them down below, so make sure you check them out after this video. But yeah, let's just get right into it because we have 10 products in our little pyramid. We're going to start with the least bad of the month and work my way all the way up to the biggest fail of the month, which, hint hint, might have something to do with my lashes that I know look a little questionable. Okay, so the very first one, no joke, kind of breaks my heart to have to put it in a fails video, and I kind of debated with myself. I was like, well, they're not really that bad, but when I think about having to apply them, they definitely don't make it into a favorites because they are a pain in the butt to apply. They're the JD Glow liquid liners. They're neon liquid liners. I have 2 of the pastel liquid liners that I have. I'm just dropping too many of them. I've tried the pastels, but I have the whole bundle of the neon liners, so that's what I've been focusing on. But today I have the neon pink, I think, yeah, neon pink as my liner. Then I have the pastel neon orange in my crease. Yes, I'm extra. I just wanted to try it. Anyway, I've been having a ton of fun. You guys have seen in my recent videos, I've been wearing them and they are really fun on camera. They come across so well. You really don't see any issues when you see it on camera because the color is so vibrant and, you know, we're a good distance away. I feel like it is beautiful, perfect, and I am totally going to continue using these, but I can't deny that these are a pain to apply because the actual brush tip of this liner is very, very stiff. And because while it is a brush tip, which I like brush tips, it is the most firmest brush tip when you're going to apply it to your eye that I've honestly ever tried. And I've tried a lot of brush tip liners over the years. Add to that, this formula isn't a true liquid like you would imagine with the NYX matte liquid liner that I absolutely love. That formula is very liquidy, and yes, it's pigmented, but it still has that, it's very smooth. There's no unevenness with the texture of the liquid in that product. This, on the other hand, it didn't click until I got it and started using it, but this is a liquid gel liner. I definitely feel like these lean towards that gel consistency. When I go to swipe it on, even if I'm trying to be very careful, you get an unevenness with your application because it's just a thicker consistency. It's not all smooth and liquidy, and I don't think it'll come across on camera. It comes out looking very smooth, but the more you use it, the more you can see that inconsistency in the layer that you're applying. There's always going to be more like kind of building up on the outer layers of the brush you apply through. Now I can get these to work. I actually do not use the brush tip that this comes with. I use my own, my favorite one that I've used is Anastasia one, A28 brush. But anyway, I use something like this to apply and it applies a lot better. I still have to be careful. I still have to work with it a little bit to make sure it's not kind of clumping up and looking uneven, but I can get it to apply a lot easier than using this brush tip. So once I switched to just using a brush, it got a lot better, but still I feel like this has a brush in it. It's just a little annoying to have to grab another tool when this is supposed to have it. The logistics of this, the packaging wasn't well thought out or wasn't well tested because the brush is so stiff. Another thing that I noticed, even, you know, especially when I was using it with a brush tip and having, or, you know, getting a different brush, is that when I pull this out and I hold it like this, because this is kind of how I apply and then I just grab some and go, the product on here was getting thicker, which really concerns me because I'm like, is this drying out or is it just because it's, you know, there's just a tiny bit of product on this? It definitely, the longer I have this out, it hardens on the actual brush. And same story with the brush, like I would do this, I did this liner and I did 2 coats on this, so I set it down and when I picked it back up, whatever was on here was already hardening, and that's very fast. So it might not necessarily be a bad thing because maybe that helps it to kind of dry down, and it does a fantastic job of staying on your eyes. But it's a little worrisome because I'm like, Is every time I open this, the product inside gonna dry out faster just because it dries out so fast, like I said? And then also too, if I'm opening it up, is this brush just going to, after a couple uses, get extremely gunked up because whatever's on here is drying out because it's in the air, and then I'm going back and forth trying to use it, but now there's hardened product on the tip of the brush. I hope I'm making sense. But that's another reason why I was like, I don't know how long these are gonna last. So overall, when I was thinking about these, while I love how they look, they're a lot of fun and they definitely work better and they're not so streaky and difficult and crackly when you use a brush. I can't say that I recommend them, and I can't say they were my favorite thing to use from this past month. Yes, I loved how they looked, but like I said, they were a pain to apply. So that's why I decided to put these at the very bottom of the fails list. It's not the worst product that I tried. They're not completely duds, but if you were at all eyeing this, I want you to know the pros and cons, and while they look beautiful on camera and you really can't tell any streakiness, I find them very tricky to apply. But also, I do want to throw out one little disclaimer caveat. I've never tried the water activated neon lighters, and I've heard those are very difficult to apply and tricky to apply, and they can get crackly. So I have no experience with them, so maybe these are better than that. They just have their own cons. I really don't know. I definitely want to buy some water activated liners and give them a try, and maybe do a comparison video between these neon gel liners and then water activated ones in like a pot, the cream cake, whatever they call them. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. Definitely leave that down in the comments, and I am definitely going to try to get a couple, and then I can compare them to these. For all those reasons, I felt like it belonged in this fails video, and it'd be my first in the whole line of fail products. So not the worst that I tried this month. We're going to talk about a lot more, but I had my hopes set a lot higher than what I discovered when I tried them. Okay, next up, I'm a little broken up that I have to include this in the fails, but this is the Essence You Better Work Length Definition Mascara. This is a waterproof formula I got because Paulina here on YouTube said that this is one of her favorite mascaras, and I was very intrigued, so I ended up picking it up. And I'm not going to say it's the worst mascara I've ever tried. That's definitely, you know, it's at the beginning of this fails video, so it's definitely not the worst product I tried, definitely not the worst mascara, but I found it to just be okay. And it was a mascara that I felt like I had to apply something on top, because if I just went in with this, I just wasn't satisfied. It just wasn't enough for me. I really wanted something on top to really bulk it up and give it more definition. And with this alone, anytime I wore this, just this by itself, I just felt like I had no lashes. So I don't know if there was a different formula or a different version under this You Better Work, and maybe I grabbed the wrong one. This is Length Definition Mascara. It definitely does give a length. I didn't think it like kind of coated and kind of picked them up a little bit, but I don't know. They were very soft. If you don't like crunchy lashes, I think you would like this. But me, I like my lashes. I don't mind my lashes being crunchy. I just want them to be as long as I can within reason. But my big thing is having them defined and just kind of giving them, being able to see them. So I like a lot of, not clumpiness, but I like a lot of depth with my mascara when I go to coat it on. So anytime I use this, it gave more separation and length than anything, and I really like that volumizing aspect. And this just didn't give it to me as much as I like it. So that's why I decided to put it right here at number 9. Next up would be the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. This concealer, it's not a total fail, hence why it's higher up in the list. I like it for the very natural days. If I'm going with a no makeup, I'm putting on like a tinted CC cream or tinted SPF type of product. I really like this because I feel like when I blend it in, anytime I use this, I always blend it with my fingers because it just applies so much better and just blends into your skin so much better than a brush. It really needs that warmth, I find, to really get it to blend in. But I love how it looks because it almost looks like you don't have concealer. And you know, if you're someone who tries to go very light on your face, a lot of times concealers can look too heavy, and then when you do your face, everything looks very natural except right under your eyes. You can kind of almost see where you stopped blending in your concealer. This does not do it. So I really love it for that, and I do plan to keep it around for that purpose of using it on the days when I want to go very light with my face. I love how it blends into the skin and looks like I'm not wearing concealer. However, the reason I decided to stick it in a fail is because I have to be very careful what type of setting powder I pair with this so that it doesn't crease, because there were many days when I was kind of just using whatever kind of setting powder I had in my drawer, it would crease by the end of the day or just start to break up a little bit. However, when I used it with my tried and true, my number 7 translucent setting powder, which is my all-time favorite setting powder for underneath my eyes, it tended not to crease. It's not the worst concealer out there. It's definitely one a little more high maintenance because I do have to apply it with my fingers, and it's more high maintenance because I do have to be mindful of the setting powder that I'm using to set it. But besides that, it is a very nice concealer. So it definitely is one of those concealers. It has its pros and cons. It's nice. I'll definitely finish using it up, but it's just a little high maintenance and it's got its little quirks. Next up is the Beauty Creations and Annette 69 highlighter. This is the highlighter I have on my face, And I think you can see that glow. In person, I have a very hard time seeing it. And on top of this glow is not only from the highlighter, I also have a glowy blush on, and this is all a highlighter I can get. If you're someone who likes a very subtle highlight, you'll like this. It's just very, very subtle. Not what I'm looking for when I'm going to go through the effort of putting on a highlighter. I feel like I'd probably just go with a glowy blush or skip out. I feel like this would probably work really nicely as a blush topper, because that is another aspect. It's just a tad dark for my preferences. When I'm putting on a highlighter, I want something a little extra bright to brighten up the sides of my, or the tops of my cheekbones, whereas this, whenever I turn, like, it's not dark. It definitely doesn't give a cast in a mirror. Maybe on camera you'll have to tell me. It's just a touch darker than I like. I like it to be bright and light and reflective, and this just, it's a little disappointing. So that's why I decided to put it in my fails in this spot, because while it's not a huge fail, it's just, I don't foresee myself keeping this around just because it was just so, it's okay. The next one I feel like has a lot to do with my skin tone. It just, I don't see the point of this. This is the Becca First Light Priming Filter in the Instant Complexion Refresh. I used this several times. I got it as a freebie, so I was like, hey, I'll give it a try. And I used it so many days on half my face, and at the end of the night, I get super up close in my mirror, and I tell you, I could never see a difference. Now, I did hear someone on YouTube mention that this is one of their favorite primers because they love how glowy it makes their skin, and maybe that's the reason. Maybe this is more focused on giving your skin a glowing aspect to it. Me, I have kind of normal getting to the oily point for me, so I don't have dry skin, and when I use this, I would put makeup on top, and you guys know I like to set my makeup and get a very mattifying look, except where my highlighter is. So I don't know if just putting all of those kind of mattifying products on top, and I tend to use more mattifying foundations, if it kind of counteract whatever this could do in the glowing aspect. So that could totally be it, or maybe it's because I have more normal to oily skin and I don't really have dry skin. Maybe that's why I'm not seeing it. But yeah, as I said, there were so many days I tried this, half on my face, half not. I did not see a difference at all whatsoever. So it's just kind of like a pointless product, an extra step that does nothing for me. Okay, for number 5, we're halfway through. As I mentioned, I put on like a glowy blush, and it is the Benefit Georgia blush. This is their new little box blush. It's a very shimmery color and more of a peachy, I guess, Georgia peach kind of tone. And I also tried out another blush. I'm totally blanking on it. I'll put it right here. They're both in the same category. I gave that blush to my sister because she was asking if I had a very not too pigmented blush just to put on for the everyday kind of thing. And that, I gave her that one because it's not pigmented at all. And then this one, it's not pigmented at all. This is the Luminoso, because I was like, ooh, maybe they're kind of dupes for each other because they're both kind of that more peachy leaning glowy blush. So the Georgia, as you can see, is lighter, and I think that's my issue. When I put this on my skin tone, there's no kind of blush aspect. It just gives a glowy aspect to my skin. So I think that's the biggest reason why I didn't like it, because I kept kind of going on and layering this to try to see if I could see it. I'm just too dark. I'm not the target audience for this. Maybe if you're extremely fair, it would give a very beautiful glow. And when we're talking about glow, I don't really want glow on my cheeks. I want it more on my highlight, so it was a little too glowy for my blush. I much prefer the, almost hit myself. I much prefer the Luminoso blush, so if you're anywhere around my skin tone or darker, don't even look at the Georgia blush. And also the other blush that I'm totally blanking on, I cannot believe I cannot remember it, but it was a matte blush. Don't go for that. I'm going to stick up a picture here. I compared it to my LORAC blush in Tinge. They're very similar in color, but this Tinge highlighter is 10 times more pigmented. So when I was using that other blush, I kept going back and forth with my brush, really tapping it in there, trying to get something to show up. And I mean, maybe that much. These box blushes, they're just not pigmented enough for my skin. So if you're extremely fair, maybe it works great for you, but for me, my preferences, my skin tone, the color that I am, they do not work. This Georgia one, like I said, it didn't do anything. And whatever I have on my face today, again, remember, it's a combination of these two. It never gave me any color, and I kept pushing my brush into there to try to get something, and this is all I could get. Okay, now we're getting into the more, like, these are actually, they're not just products that aren't meant for me, like the Georgia blush and the primer and whatnot. These are products that they don't work for me. They don't. And this one I'm going to talk about for number 4 is because the color is so wrong. This is the Dose of Colors in Mochi. I got it in a BoxyCharm. The color is cringy. And I had a lot of people say, oh, you know, if that doesn't work, try doing a lip liner. I did. One, it makes my lips too much. It's too thick. I don't know if it's because this is so thick and then on top of a lip liner, I just felt very thick. It's just not my color. If you want Barbie pink, this is what I think of when I think of Barbie pink, or bubblegum. Not even bubblegum. I think of Barbie pink. It's just not my skin tone, and I'm not that high maintenance to want to get a lip liner out. And as I said, it was just too thick on my lips, and I really had to rub it and basically just combine these two. There was no just like lining my lips and letting this fade in. It didn't look good. I had to put this all over my lips and then really rub this into it to kind of mesh the two together. And I'm not someone who is that high maintenance. So yeah, I only wore it once. I tried to wear it 2 other times before that. This color is not meant for me. Okay, so this is next fail. If you watched my recent collab video that I did with a bunch of girlfriends and you saw that video, my eyes looked a train wreck in that video, and that was because I tried to use these Kristen Lee Cosmetics. It's these flakies. It's Multichrome flakies in the shade Delirium. Absolutely gorgeous. And I've had it sitting there and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try and use these. And it went so south. My lids were so, like, it was so thickly coated. I tried to use a mixing medium to get these to stay, and then I tried to use a glitter glue to get them to stay. By an hour into wearing them and just opening and shutting my eyes, flakes were just all over my face. It was just flaking off and all these bald patches. It was a hot mess that day. I am not saying that I blame Kristen Lee Cosmetics because these are her flakies. I just think it's flakies in general. I don't know how to use it. I've seen people use it, and maybe it's because my eyelids are too textured and hooded or something like that, because I've seen people use it who don't have as hooded or as deep set, I guess I should say. They don't have as deep set eyes as I do. And while I do see that texture that I was getting, it still looked nice. It was a little broken up, not my preference, but it still looked nice. On my eyes, it looked like the Sahara Desert was falling apart on my eyelids. It was bad. So yeah, I'm totally blaming user error here and why this made it into a fails. But using flakies for the first time scares me from ever wanting to try them again. That was such a hot mess express, and I'm still finding flakies all over my beauty room. I had one on my camera when I went to click the record button this morning. It just, too messy, too high maintenance, too hard to do. I will have nightmares of that occasion for a long time. Okay, number 2, we are almost done. This is the Nude Sticks foundation. I got Nude 3. It's not terrible, but the reason I'm putting it at number 2 fail is because it's a big fail when I'm thinking about very light coverage foundations or light coverage tinted BB creams, CC creams, tinted foundations, tinted moisturizers, whatever you want to call them. They're not foundations, they give you a little tint. This is probably the least impressive. Well, maybe not the least. The CoverGirl one is the least. The skin milk thingy, that is bad. This is like right above it, because I feel like when I go to apply this, and I've worn this so many times over the past, month, when I go to apply it and I'm blending it in, it almost like it disappears. And I feel like I've been trying a lot of more tinted products and lighter weight products over the past couple months. I'm thinking of the ColourPop, their tinted moisturizer. I'm trying a CoverGirl BB cream right now, and both of them, they're very lightweight, they're very light coverage, but they still make a difference. Like, it helps correct my face to match my body and my neck more, which I like, because that's one reason I always like to put something on my face. This, I feel like when I was blending it in, it almost like it blended away, and I could still see the lightness from the skin on my face shining through this. That's how little coverage it gave. But when it has a tinted cover foundation or like a BB cream, I expect a little bit more in the way of coverage, and I wanted to at least help and correct my skin tone to make it match my body a little bit more. And this just doesn't do that. I put it on today, and I really feel like you can't tell because I did go on with a powder foundation on top, but it's just something that, it's very weird. As I'm applying it with a brush, it's almost just like the brush ate all the foundation, and it's just kind of like, I see a little tint, but that's it. I did not ever try to apply this with my hands. I'm just not someone who likes to apply my foundation with my hands. It makes my hands dirty. I don't like how it looks. I just don't like it. So I always do it with a brush, and with a brush, I just wasn't impressed. And especially since this is a pricier product. No, like I said, I like the ColourPop and then the CoverGirl BB cream that I'm currently testing out that you're going to hear about in a couple, or tomorrow's video in the favorites video. I prefer those so much more, and they are so much cheaper. So that's another reason why I was like, you really do nothing. You kind of disappear on my face, and you're so expensive. You're a fail. Okay, last up. as promised, I said I would address my lashes. This is the magnetic eyelashes. I do not know the brand. It was one of those emails that I got saying like, hey, we sell these lashes on Amazon. Can we send them to you and you try them and maybe mention them? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I think this is back before I moved. So this was like, is this a year ago? Okay, that's embarrassing. But anyway, I finally got around to trying them and I have them on my lashes today. But the thing I don't like is that they are impossible to get them right against your lashes. And I'm gonna go ahead and stick a picture, and this is after many attempts to get them on, and this is how far they are from the base of my lashes. And I feel like maybe that doesn't look too bad from far away, but from up close, I think that just looks weird. That's not something I like. They do move a little bit because as I blink more, they're getting more comfortable, because when I first put them on, they're just so kind of pokey and they kind of make my eyes water, stuff like that. I'm not in pain, but they're definitely not very comfortable to wear. And when I have liquid magnetic liner that I can use to apply magnetic lashes to my eyelids and get them like right against my skin, I just don't see the point of these. Also, something too I really don't like is when you're actually looking at them, because they have, I don't even think I said, but they have the top band, which is one full band, and then they have the 3 little points that you kind of attach to hold them on. And they do work a whole lot better than the OG, where it was like this. It had the band and then one full band. It's so much easier to apply. It's still tricky, and it still took me many attempts to get them closed, but they're a lot easier to apply 3 little pieces under your lashes than a whole strip. So I do like that, and that is the better option. If you're someone who, I don't know, try to make these work, really want to make this style work, definitely go with one that's broken up, or even just like, can I grab this? Just cut up your old pair at the bottom, cut them up. But the thing that I don't like is that when you're looking straight on, I feel like you can see the spaces. Like I feel like it's really dark here, here, and here. And then it's like kind of like sparse where there is no second layer underneath my lashes. And I don't like that. Like when I look at myself all day today, I feel like I either got a really bad like eyelash extension fill-in. What is that called when you like go to a salon and they like glue them on professionally? I think that's called extensions or whatever, but like as they fall out, they start to look very sparse and weird. That's what I feel like I have on, and it just doesn't look cute. I just feel like I have really bad caterpillars sitting on my lashes, and I don't like it. And like I said, on top of them not being very comfortable, on top of them not sitting close enough to my lashes, and on top of them, you know, just being a pain in the butt to try and put on, it made it to my #1 fail. I don't recommend them. Alright, so there you have it, another very long-winded fails video from me, but I had a lot of products to talk about. It was an interesting month. I feel like overall nothing was just absolutely terrible. There was definitely products that I really didn't like, and I cannot wait to get these caterpillars off my lashes after I end this video. So I hope it was informative. As I said in the beginning, please keep in mind these are fails for my preferences, and they vary in the severity of the fail. Just because it makes it into this video doesn't mean that I'm trashing these or I'll never use them again. As I said, I really do think you're going to continue to see me wearing these neon liquid liners because I love the effect they give. They're just going to be a pain to use, and I am definitely on the hunt for products that make it easier to get these neon liners because I really like this very graphic look. It just can make a look like today, like the eyeshadow look is so basic and boring in my eyes, but with some very neon or pastel neon liner, I feel like it just is the final step to make it fun in my eyes. So anyway, yeah, just please keep that in mind. As I said, this is just with my preferences, but with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found this video helpful or informative, and if you did, please hit the thumbs up button on your way out as it helps me in the whole YouTube algorithm. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow for my favorites video. Bye guys.